Hi everyone, my name is Simply Real, and I'm an addict. You're probably wondering what could she possibly be addicted to? Well, the answer is not as simple as the question was to you. They say the first step to recovery is to admit that you're an addict. I told y'all I'm my mother's daughter, so it may very well be genetic. But if I open that door and tell the first time I got high, then I would have to undo all the lies that I told myself. I ride a horse named pain that breaks my heart in two. Pieces of a puzzle that I have a struggle putting back together because at times my mind can be too clever. When trying to trick my heart into checking into rehab for something that I didn't sit back and roll up then smoke up to escape the memory of the first time I got high. I can't tell no clinic that I'm addicted to rips, tears, and breaks, leaving my heart to suffer through imaginary rooms that I can't escape. I ain't never been good at telling nobody my business, especially when it comes to this addiction. You see, the first time I got high, I was 16 with big eyes and big dreams, but no one ever told me that I would forever chase a high that would never feel like the first time. He said, I love you, and my eyes rolled back to the back of my head, and I replayed the words he said over and over until they were permanent. Staring at the ceiling while laying in his bed, but I love you didn't feel like euphoria. Instead, it wasn't until I was dropped for another, and I was hoping he would see me, so I lowered my standards and increased my dosage. Went from us writing love letters of us being together to me doing donuts around corners just to see him and her together. And I still wasn't satisfied. It wasn't until he was ready to give me all of him, but I could no longer get high, so I opted for a new supply. And he was grown, years my senior, but the type of drug didn't matter because I could solve all his problems and he didn't even have to commit. Especially when all I needed was a substance that didn't exist. With him, I was his angel, compared me to every woman he came across, but I couldn't heal him, so he broke me, leaving my heart to suffer. But never before I could inhale all of his imperfections. I overdosed after that heartbreak and found another pusher who was still in love with another user. It's funny how someone can leave you when they were never really yours, especially when being someone's girlfriend has been a closed door, and that's the hard truth. But they say the first step to recovery is to admit that you're an addict. I told y'all I'm my mother's daughter, so it may very well be genetic. And just when I thought there was no other high I could try, I relapsed. Several times in between on what I thought would be the end of a search for a new drug. But the feeling was all too familiar as my heart felt everything that I no longer wanted to face. So I let him lie to me because I was already deep into an addiction that never went into remission. And then I met him, and it happened again. I thought he was everything I could dream of. All the good morning beautifuls, you're so different, will you be able to, and I want to see you was all I needed. Until my drug of choice was no longer a fix. I was so tired of the comparisons. If you were my girlfriend, then things would be different, but I'm not ready for a commitment. But we can play the what if game as long as you let me, so I did. I wonder what if I could travel back in time so I could guard my heart with something like vibranium, but soft enough to touch. Then maybe I wouldn't have been fiending for something that most people run from. So to the not so anonymous men who broke me because I couldn't heal them, my addiction was no excuse. Maybe you should sit beside me because you just may have an addiction too. And to my fellow addicts, I will not lie to you and say that it doesn't feel good until it doesn't. Because the truth of the matter is, heartbreak is a natural high that'll never feel like the first time. So take my advice and take the first step. They say the first step to recovery is to admit that you're an addict. I told y'all I'm my mother's daughter, so it may very well be genetic. It's been real.